Hello. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will learn about arrays in JavaScript. So arrays is a common what you call facility which almost all languages provide. C, C++, Java, Rust, any language you take, there will be array. So usually in a statically typed language like say C, C++, Java, Rust, those kind of languages have arrays in homogeneous terms. That is, you'll say the array is of type integer or the type of float or type of character or string, something like that. But in JavaScript, that is not the case. JavaScript arrays are more like Python lists. It can contain any type given to it. Now, every member of an array is called an element and it is assigned a number, which is called the index of that element. So these elements, these indexes, they have a range, okay? The range is from 0 to up to 32-bit. That is, it can reach up to 2 to the power 32 minus 1. That also implies that the maximum number of elements in the array is 2 to the power 32. Now, like Python list, the size of array is dynamic and it can grow and shrink based on how we add or remove elements from the array. One more property which we have seen when we were discussing the delete operator was that the array can be sparse. So there can be gap between the elements. So for example, consider an array 1, 2, 3 and we delete the second index. Now since the array is based on 0, so second item means the item 3, this will be deleted. And if you look at the A at this moment of time, it will contain an empty item at position 2. And then we can do array a.push and it will be inserted at index 3, that is position 4. Let's take a look at it, that how does this work. Arrays, arrays1 yes. So you see, it shows that there is an empty item here and then there is 4 inserted here. So it constructed a sparse array. So now again we can infer that if the array is non-sparse, then we have something called length property, okay? Now if the array is non-sparse, the length property will be equal to the index of highest element. But if that is not the case, the length may not be equal to the index of highest element. For example, if you look at console.log, if you look at a.length here, a.length here, and you look at console.log, a.length here. So the length will not change. As you can see, now this should be log. You see, length did not change in both the cases, even though this one contains an extra element. Okay, the length is 3 here, and the length is 3 here. Oh, sorry, this was after pushing. So length was here and here. So after deletion, the length did not change. Now we can see that at this moment, the array was a non-sparse array, and over here it has become a sparse array. So at this point of time, the index of the highest element is the length of array, but not at this time. So let's see, comment this out. Now, arrays inherit from a special object called array.prototype. Okay. It is also worth knowing that ES6 introduced a group of specialized arrays called typed arrays, which are like C, C++, or Java or Rust arrays. Like those arrays, they have a fixed size That is, typed arrays have a fixed size and store elements of specific numeric type. Notice that it does not store character or string types. So clearly, compiler can perform certain optimizations. That is, the interpreter can perform certain optimizations for better performance, and it allows the manipulation of binary data at byte level because these are numeric types. Now, one of the ways you can construct an array is by using spread operator. We'll have to let this A be declared. So one of the ways is you can create an array by using spread operator. So we have array B here. First element is 0, then elements of A, that is 1, 2, 3. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and then 5. And we assign 10 at position 1, so the element 1 will become 10. So 0, 10, 2, 3, and 5. And we can print both the arrays here. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it printed array A first, 1, 10, and 3 because we replaced 1 with 10, and then it printed the original array B. So you see, spread operator made a copy of the original array. Okay, this was the original array, 1, 2, 3 was the original array. So spread operator made a copy and put that inside B. Now strings are also iterable. Okay, spread operator works on any iterable. Okay, but it is not a true operator because it works at only two places. One is within an array construction, and the second is inside a function argument. Now strings are also iterable, so we can create a string ABC and use spread operator before that. And let's try to print that. We will see that all the elements of the string will be split character by character. Now we comment this out. Another way to create array is creating array by constructors. So you can call this new array, it will create an empty array. You can create another array with argument 0. It will create an array with the length 10, 0. If you call with argument 10, it will create an array of length 10. But if you create an array with multiple arguments like this, then it will create the array of those many elements. So let's see this in action. You see, first two are empty with no arguments and argument 0, and when we give 10, it creates 10 empty items, and then finally it creates an array of 1 to 3. So we see that constructor has a problem that it cannot create an array of one argument. Okay, it cannot create an array of one element. So the solution is that you use of function or method from ES6. So older JavaScript won't work, but in the newer JavaScript you can do that. So you can call array.of10, then it'll create an array of element with element 10. Now if you do not pass any argument, it will create an empty array, and if you pass 1 to 3, of course it will create the array with those many elements. So that's what we see here. Now another way to construct an array is array from. So it takes an iterable and constructs an array out of that. Now it also takes an optional argument which can be a function which will operate on the elements of the array, and the return values will be used to construct the array, which is much like the map function. You may not have known about map function yet, but map does similar things. Map is there in Python, map is in reduce. Map is the famous term from MapReduce as popularized by Google. So the array.from can be used as a map to transform the input array to something else. For example, if you want to double the element of the array and construct from that, it is possible to do that from. Now we will talk about some more theory about array. So One of the things is that when you access an array element, for example, let's remove this and we say console.log. So when we construct this index, give me a second. So when we access the second element of the array, this is basically an object property. So it is first converted to a string, and then that string is used to get the property from the array. For example, I'll give you an example. You can pass it, say 2, and you will see that it will still return 3. Also note that it is possible to pass floating point number also. That will also work, because in JavaScript, floating point number, not string. It should have worked. All right. I may be wrong on that account. Okay. 2.3 may not work. Let's say 1.2. Okay. A string of 1.2. No. Okay. So I am wrong on that account, or maybe it is not working because of strict mode. Let's try to disable strict mode and see this. Okay, the string does not work. What about 1.2? Okay, it does not work. So floats are not allowed. You can pass negative numbers as well here. They'll be converted. There is no error is read. You don't see any syntax error or index error, nothing is read. The reason is that since these are object properties, JavaScript has no notion of the bounds of the array. So if you try to access any property by supplying an index, then what it does is it looks for a property, and if the property is not there, then it simply tells us that it is undefined. Okay, that is a very simple, straightforward way of that. What I mean by saying all this is construct an object here. Let O is equal to an empty object. And if we say that console.log, we invoke a property on this O of, let's say, this X. Okay. It will tell us undefined. So that's what is happening with the array as well. So with this, we will end this video. There's a lot of material I have talked about, which will take some time to sync if you are new to programming. So I don't want to make a very long video and confuse you. In the next video, we will learn more about arrays, and there will be quite a few videos on arrays. It's a bit, there are lots of functions which we need to learn about when talking about arrays. So stay tuned for the next video, and thanks a lot for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy.